Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Another exciting finish to an LPGA tournament, three-way playoff. Really exciting finish. Um, I am Kelly Shaw, and I am the creator and moderator of Ladies Dream Golf. And I have with me today two very special guests. I have Alexandra Cossey, who is a professional golfer on the Symetra Tour, and I also have Beth Bethel, who has a great golf blog called Staying in the Short Grass, and she's also a writer and editor for Pro Golf Now. So, hi guys,
Hi.
how you doing?
Hi,
Hi.
Kelly. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Beth.
Hey. So, gosh, it seems like week after week we're not disappointed with exciting finishes on the LPGA, and today was no exception. So we had a three-way playoff, and I'll probably say this wrong, but Se-Young Kim ended up winning. She kind of made a surge there at the end. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Beth. What did you think about the end of the tournament?
Oh, the end of the tournament started last night, really. I mean, but the very end, the last three holes, I think, where I just had this funny feeling that it was going to go to a playoff. When when Kim came whanging up and really pulled herself up into contention, and then Jutarnagan did the same thing, I thought, gosh, they're going to do it. It's going to be a playoff. And then I thought for a while Lincecum was going to get in on it, and we'd have a four-way playoff. But she didn't. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, I like a tournament that ends tightly like that because for me, the fun of watching, the fun of being a fan, is the competition, not seeing one person way out in front, just leaving the field in her dust. That's kind of a dull tournament from my point of view.
I hear you. I thought it was a great ending, and I
As a
know
person who plays golf and as a person who enjoys watching others. That's it.
right. So, Alex, I know you didn't get to see the end of it. Did you catch any of the tournament during the week?
Yeah, off and on I did here and there, but yeah, unfortunately, again, I was practicing this afternoon, so I didn't watch any of the coverage. But I quickly looked at the leaderboard. But I was really watching for my friend Kelly Shawn. She's the one that made it through Q School. She went to Princeton. They were talking about her a little bit, and I'm so happy. She finished 11th, I think, top 20 in your first LPGA event is really awesome. I got to know her and her mom very well last year on the Symetra Tour, and for someone that went to Princeton, she doesn't at all act like it. She's just really down to earth and very genuine and a good friend, so I'm so happy for her start. And like we were talking about before, I've been pulling for Brittany Lincecum, and it just seems like she just keeps knocking on the door, and I'm sure she'll get it done, but that was kind of a heartbreaker there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Kelly Shawn, and I have to say that it was cracking me up all week because every time they said her name, I was like, oh, they're talking to me. Um, I can only dream. But she seemed really, really together. I mean, I really don't know that much about her, but she was really fun to watch.
Yeah, she's very calm and just has a really good demeanor, so it's good to see her start off well.
She did
Okay,
make a good start. She made a great start.
let me make a couple of comments that I should have made earlier. Give me my little props here. So if anybody is watching, following along on Twitter, you can post questions at hashtag LDG Hangout. Who's laughing at me?
Me. I like your signs. That's good.
I like the last week with the signs, the sponsor signs.
Oh, and that reminds me. So this week, okay, hold on. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Yeah, we got.
So this
Stop.
week
There you
we're
go.
sponsored by Players Towel, and I honestly don't know who's going to win because I mean it came down. There was only two players who picked Sung Young Yu, and I knew who was going to win if she won. But since it came down to a playoff and they haven't posted the dollar amounts yet, I don't know who's going to win, and so we'll have to wait for probably a half hour or so for that. And I want to say thank you to Patrick over at Players Towel. He's been great to work with, and if you don't win this week, he has already agreed to sponsor a few of our future tournaments as well. So there will be more chances for towels. Let me bring up a comment from Colette real quick. Let's see. There we go. Hi, Colette. I know you're out there. That was quite a finish. Would have liked for Aria to win, but her time will come, no doubts. Kim deserved it. She made a lot of great shots in the closing holes, which she absolutely did. Hold on. Now, last week I made the mistake. Hold on just a second. Am I doing weird things here? Okay, so Colette says, even if my favorite didn't finish in the top 25, still happy for Suzanne. And we know that Colette is a great Suzanne fan. And now, how to get back to me? Hold on. Can you guys see me?
No, all we see is a blank screen. There you go.
Okay, hold on. So last week I made the mistake that I was pinned almost the whole time while you guys were talking. I don't want to do that again. So I hope I don't do that again. But yeah, Colette is a huge Suzanne fan, and Suzanne hasn't really shown her stuff so far this year. What do you guys think about Suzanne?
I think that she's going to turn the corner here because she switched coaches from Ledbetter, and not that Ledbetter's bad or anything, because, I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to him right now, like Lydia Ko and Jessica Korda, but she went to Butch Harmon, and Butch Harmon is awesome, too. If you notice that every player that Butch Harmon has, they all have different swings, and he makes them all work. He doesn't change them. He's kind of old school. He's got his whole family's in the golf, teaching business, so I think she's going to start to play even better once she gets used to what they're working on.
Yeah, I mean, she looks good out there. She really does. It's just some little piece missing. What do you think, Beth?
If you think back to the end of 2013, which is a long way to think back, when Pedersen was playing, she was on fire. Do you remember? She was absolutely on fire. And she was very open about wanting to overtake MB Park in the top of the Rolex rankings, and it became a driving goal for her. In fact, she said, that's my career goal. That's what I want. And that's why I'm playing golf. And when that didn't happen, she came back in 2014 a different player. Coaching aside, and I think what Alex said about coaching is important, but there's another piece that I see operating with Suzanne, or I hope I'm not seeing it actually. She didn't reach that big goal that she had for herself, and I think the fire went out. Now, if she can get the fire back, then we'll see her playing to the top of the board again. But I'm not sure the fire's come back yet. That's, I think when you go so public with something like that and then it doesn't happen, wow.
Oh yeah, there's just some really tough competition out there. I mean, the level of play is so high, and I'm really surprised to see some of the newer players do so well, like Kelly Shawn and Aria right up there at the top, second tournament as an LPGA pro. One thing I did want to mention that I thought was kind of crazy about this week was the overlapping rounds. It was really hard to keep track of what round we were in, and I actually think, I could be wrong, I think they started the final round today before they had actually finished the third round.
I think they did too.
But there was a couple of reasons I was having such a hard time keeping up. And one was because of the overlapping rounds, but one was because, did you guys notice the LPGA leaderboard was just whacked?
I don't like the new
site. No, I know none of us like the new site, but I think it was better toward the end of the weekend. They're working on it. I mean, come on, Kelly, you work in the field. You know when you roll out something new, there's a pile of bugs you have to get rid of. And they might have rolled it out prematurely.
But listen, they have a whole team. They have a whole team. I'm by myself. You know, I think I do more testing than they did.
Well, that may be. It didn't work very well.
Have you seen it, Alex?
Oh yeah, I think they're trying to sort of mimic the PGA Tour's website a little bit, but it was much easier to navigate on the older one. And then when it first was up, I think on Thursday, Beth was all excited for Pancake 'cause she had like two eagles, and I hadn't looked. And I started commenting on it, and then we realized it wasn't even right. But the symmetrical site does that too. Somebody will have like three eagles and a hole in one, and everyone gets all excited, but. I don't know, hopefully they work it out a little bit, but none of us hard to like
Oh
the
no, I mean I know it takes a while to work out those things, but I guess the thing that was really causing me difficulty, maybe it's just me, was that you had to scroll so much. You could only see like 5 names at a time, and I have a pretty high resolution monitor, and so I found myself using the Golf Channel's leaderboard
I didn't
this
like that
week.
you couldn't see all the rounds together. They're only showing the current day because I like to look at stats and I think you have to go hit something else to get to all the rounds, where on the other site you can see everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, and they also have taken away the search feature, so that
Oh really?
every time I either had to set up my own leaderboard in the beginning, or I had to scroll constantly to find, like when Brooke Pancake started flopping up and down the board, and I was, yeah, Alex is right, I was really excited. And then I felt like a fool because I tweeted it all over Kingdom Come. But um, nevertheless, I miss the search feature. I think we all miss something. Maybe we should send them a note and give them a list of issues they need to address.
Well, and I'm sure some of it is, and I hate to be this way, but I think some of it is people don't like change, and
No.
when things change, you tend to resist. And so I'm gonna, before I start complaining, I'm gonna give myself a chance to get used to it. But just a little inside information here: the change that they made broke my processes that I use to do my screen scraping, to get the scores and stuff. So I think I was a little influenced by that. It's like, why did you have to
Oh.
change it? And so, but the good news is I figured out a different way to get the scores, and it's probably better than the way that I was doing it before. So they forced me to improve my processes. So that's good. And here's Colette again. She has a little comment. They should have done their testing during the winter off season. My feeling on that is, and being in the programming world and web apps world, they probably intended to release this at the beginning of the season. That's my guess, and
Yeah.
they just didn't get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they probably got pushed for time, and they thought, oh, it'll be okay. And
So,
I
hey,
agree with
Alex,
Colette.
I have a question for you since you've been out there playing, and I know all kinds of weather conditions. What were these players dealing with this week with the wind and the rain and the dark? What were they dealing with this week?
Yeah, I saw that Chris Molis said she hit maybe pitching wedge from like 68 yards and like 5-iron from 130 or something like that. Judy Rankin was talking about it, and when the wind's blowing that hard, you end up with the better ball strikers at the top. She was talking about, you just have to hit the ball in the middle of the club face more often when it's that windy. You can't get away. Any, flaw or error in a shot is just going to be magnified when the wind's blowing. What was it? I don't even know how, the miles per hour, but, you just end up with your better ball strikers at the top, and you have to stay patient. You have to get creative. You can't, if you hit your 8-iron 140 yards, you may have to take your 8-iron out and try to hit it 100 yards just to be swinging easy in the wind, because, that's kind of what you have to do when it's blowing that hard. Just get creative and try not to swing out of your shoes. Stay
How
patient.
exhausting is it for those players to play in that kind of wind? I think it was sustained winds of about 20 miles an hour to 25.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I've come off the course when it's been super windy, and you're mentally exhausted because every shot can end up really poor if you're not, putting all your thought into it. So, mentally and physically exhausted. So, that was some really good golf. And anybody shooting under par in the wind conditions. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was impressed with Stacy and Lexi yesterday, and of course, I have to mention Jarena because you guys know that Jarena is my favorite player out on tour right now, and she's one of the big hitters too. So that kind of speaks to your point,
Yeah.
Alex, of being able to play in the wind. She was the leader. She was the overnight leader, but the round 3 wasn't complete, and she came out and bogeyed 2 holes. She had 3 holes left at the third round, and she bogeyed 2 of her holes. And I know, and then Brooke Pancake came out and was on her last hole, and she triple bogeyed. So, have you ever been in that position, Alex, where you have to come out and finish just a couple of holes in a round before you start your next round?
yeah, and that's when anytime you break up, it's hard to keep a rhythm going. You come in for a rain delay, and then you have to come back out and do 4 holes. Yeah, it's hard to get momentum going. I think and then if you have momentum going at the time you stop, it's hard to get it back. So that's definitely that's mentally exhausting too, to start and stop.
And yet, and I recognize that disadvantage, and yet I thought that the scores there were a lot of people in double-digit red numbers today when I looked at the leaderboard at the end, and I thought, wow, with all those disadvantages, the scores were still running very low. So some people, can we say, are better at getting it back together than others.
Sure,
Or
that's
some people are luckier than others. I don't know. I mean, how much of that has to do with luck? 2 of the people at the top of the leaderboard were rookies. So, it wasn't the experienced players who were coming through this in good shape. It was the kids.
Here's a question maybe for both of you guys. I don't play in either of these conditions personally. If it's gusting wind or heavy rain, I just personally don't play. What do you guys think?
I think you're a wimp.
I'll admit it. Yeah.
I would much rather play in gusting wind than heavy rain. Heavy rain, I mean, adds that extra element where you feel like you may or may not be able to hold onto your club. So, and I don't like swinging with rain gear on. So I'd much rather play in just the wind.
What about you, Beth? Since you're not a wimp, I know you're out there no matter what.
If there's a golf round scheduled, I play golf. That's it. I have everything in my bag to get me through a round of golf no matter what happens. I have silk long underwear. I have rain gear. I have wind stuff. I just go out and do it because for me, this is just me. I realize that I'm in the minority. But for me, one of the pleasures of golf is that I'm doing it outside no matter what. But then I also play when it's freezing. I love it I love to play just after the frost delay is lifted because some of the water hazards are frozen and I just skip my balls across these little thin icy places.
That's looking at the positive. That's
Yeah.
definitely looking at the positive. You can bounce your ball off the water hazard.
Well, Callie, do you ski?
I did until I screwed up both my knees.
Okay. And did you cross-country ski?
No, I was a downhill skier.
You were a downhill skier. Well, I cross-country skied, and I cross-country skied in a vest and a pair of shorts and long johns.
That I want to see a picture of.
Well, I wasn't 72 when I did it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know. But in a down vest, I mean, because you're working up all this heat in your body. Downhill skiing, I think, is a little different, but cross-country skiing and golf are very much the same. You're out. Part of the game is to be in the elements. It can't always be sunshine and light breeze. Come on, Alex, why are you laughing?
I don't really like to play in the cold at all. I guess I've become soft spending all this time in Florida. I just, I like to be able to feel my fingers.
Well, have you know about hand warmers? Go to the hardware store and get those little hand warmers and put them in your pockets, and it'll be fine.
That just makes it worse. Then you got to take your hands off the hand warmers, and that's just deal with it.
Okay, hey you guys, I want to talk a little bit of make the cut.
Okay.
So as you know, 33 people got cut last week, and so we entered this tournament. Gosh, I can't remember exactly how many, but notable cuts this week. I made my list of notable cuts. I want to hear what you guys think about this. So NYC missed the cut.
Oh my goodness.
How does that happen? How do you win a tournament one week?
She was tired last week. That was a big win. I don't think she'd won for a few years, so probably just
And plus, she
tired.
had to travel to the Bahamas. Although that's not a long trip from Florida, is it?
No, shouldn't be long at all.
So that was one of my notables. But then Michelle Wee missed the cut. Any comment?
That's strange with her being from Hawaii.
I don't know what's wrong with her.
What do you mean? Please do elaborate, Elizabeth.
Well, Wee is not playing her game. I don't know what's going on with her. She's distracted or something.
She seems happy out on the course. She seems like she's in good spirits.
Yeah, she's having a great time. She's just not playing golf.
She switched all her clubs. Nike came out with that new Volt line, that lime green. She switched her ball and do everything. So maybe it just take a few tournaments to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't she supposed to practice with them in between so that she's ready?
Well, you're being a little hard on her, Beth.
She'll be back. I have no doubt. You know, last week she kind of was flirting with the cut line, but then she ended up, I think, at T24 or something like that. But a couple of the Spaniards, Motho and Ricari, missed the cut, as well as Pornanong, Batlam, and Christy Kerr. So those were the ones that I thought were interesting, and those were the ones that resulted in 18 more people missing the cut. So we are down to 120 entries left for Make the Cut, 2 tournaments in. So we'll see how it goes. How did you guys do?
I haven't checked mine. I don't know.
You haven't checked? Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, I've been busy.
Well, let me check for you. And
Okay.
while Alex tells us how she did.
I took Atha Munoz, and she made the cut, so I'm still good.
Very good. That was a good pick. Let me just check here real quick, Beth.
Yeah, how did
how
I
you
do?
Hold on just a second. Oh. Okay. Okay, here we go. So it looks like only one of yours missed the cut.
Well,
and that was Christy Kerr. Thanks to Christy Kerr.
Well, Christy dumped out one of my people. That's. But you know, I have 60 Bethels left. Do I? See, I think at some point in the middle of the season, Lady Stream Golf needs to think about reopening the the whole make the cut contest. No, and double the entry fee.
Oh,
halfway
now that's a thought. So this could be a half
back in. Oh. Well, if you want to get back in, it's going to cost twice as much.
Well, or we could make it a separate half season make the cut. That's a thought. I'll get my team of programmers on that right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to say that I meant to say at the beginning. So I put out a few invitations to some of our longtime Ladies Dream golfers who are on Twitter all the time, they're on Facebook all the time, and I invited them to be part of this hangout. And I think there's a little bit of shyness going on out there. That's just my guess. But I am going to to add some motivation here, I still have several of these Ladies Dream golf caps with Alexandra's signature. And so anyone who agrees to participate in one of these hangouts will get one of these caps. So it really is easy. I mean, the first time you do it, it's a little tricky and a little nervy, but it's kind of fun. Don't you guys think?
Well, I like Hangouts in general. I just love Hangouts. I hang out here, and I hang out on Tuesday, and I hang out with my kids. I love Hangouts. And I think that initially I felt shy when I had to talk about something. But it goes away. I want people to come and join us. I think Claudette should be next.
Colette?
I mean, Claudette.
Well, okay, so I asked Colette, and Colette's first language is French.
Well, can she speak English?
And she can, but she feels a little bit nervous trying to speak English in front of everyone.
Well, I feel really nervous trying to speak French in front of people. So.
Well, let's see you do it, Beth.
No, parlez-vous. We could do a little pigeon. No, I think she should join us, and we'll help her with that.
Well, she has an invitation. She has an open invitation, and as soon as she feels comfortable, I'm sure she will join us. But I just want everyone to know that this is very informal. It's all for fun, and I've said this before, but I think we have a wonderful community, and I would love to see more people participate, because I know people have some really interesting things to say, and I would love to have them join us.
Kelly, how many people could you accommodate in a Hangout?
I think it's up to 9 is the maximum. I think that would get a little tricky to manage.
Yeah.
But I think easily we could have 5 or 6, and it would work just fine.
Yeah. So these people who are sitting at home watching us and talking to us really need to plug in and talk with us instead of to us.
Yeah, and it's not, I hate to say this, but it's not like there's a million people out there watching. I mean seriously, if we're lucky, there's probably 4 or 5, and hopefully that will grow over time. But It really is just a group of friends just sitting here talking and having fun.
Yeah.
And so I really would like to get some participation. But I enjoy, not that I don't enjoy talking to the two of you. I love talking to you guys.
I know, we're fun, the 3 of us. Do you think we could get one of the LPGA players?
Well, I don't have very many connections, but Alex might have a connection or 2.
I could probably ask a few people. I could ask Kelly Shawn, who just had that great finish, so maybe she could join.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to do this after what's next, the Australian Open?
Okay, so next week is a week off, and then the Australian Open is after that. Now, I have to so Australia is 15 hours ahead of me, which is like 13 hours ahead of Eastern time. So that's going to take I'll do it, but we might have to change the delay on it, depending on what the time ends up being. And hopefully we can get Annette to join in on that one.
Either Annette or, there's another player, Sally, Hungry for Golf. Is she playing Ladies Dream Golf?
No, she isn't. I corresponded with her a while back, and she talked about like she was going to, but I don't think she ever did. But I don't always know. I can't always associate. Sometimes people pick really weird usernames, and they use some off emails, so it's hard to know.
Well, let me check with her and see what her situation is, because she's also just started riding for Pro Golf now.
Oh, cool.
And is a big Australian fan.
Cool.
But I really, it would be cool to get somebody like Kelly Shawn involved in this.
You guys know Daniela Iacobelli? She's on the LPGA in, I think, 2013.
Oh, yeah, I know who she is, yeah.
She's a super fun personality, so I could ask her maybe she'd like to join in. She'd have some pretty good perspectives.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So let's brainstorm that offline. we're going to wrap up here pretty soon, but I want to talk about our next sponsor. So our next sponsor for the Australian Open is near and dear to my heart. It's my niece. And my niece. And her name is Jesselyn, and she has started her own company called Seed Blossoms Art. Okay?
Oh, all right.
And she makes some amazing jewelry, and it's made completely from seeds. Now I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So this earring is made from flaxseed, green lentil, and cloves. You see that?
Oh.
Uh-oh, what happened here?
I was on her website. Everything was really, really neat.
Okay, hold on.
That is so cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna pin myself so the camera doesn't keep changing. Okay, so that's one of them. Now here's another example. This one is made from blue popcorn. Blue popcorn. It's kind of hard to see in this camera.
Thanks. Oh, I can
see it. I'm gonna show you something really cool that and keep in mind this is made completely from seeds. Okay. Look at this. This is a little necklace pendant thing, but it's like
It looks like a bee.
Yeah, it's a bee. She hand does that. See those little tiny dots in the middle of the bee? Yeah. Those are little poppy seeds, and so
my God.
She makes all this stuff, and she started this all by herself, and she has really made a pretty cool little company out of it. And she does all the craft fairs here in Albuquerque, but she has her website that she doesn't spend as much time on because most of her stuff she does locally. But anyway, she agreed to be a sponsor, and so the winner next time will get to pick out their a pair of earrings. And for the guys out there, it makes a great gift, for your girlfriend or your mom or your sister. So
maybe the guys wear earrings. Don't stereotype.
Oh, you're right, Beth. Of course, you're right. So anyway, that's what we have going for the Australian Open, which, like I said, we're going to take a week off. What's going on, Alex? Is there an emergency?
Yeah, there's always sirens going around here. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay, so I'm going to go around and get some final thoughts of the tournament, thoughts going on to next week. I guess Ko's going to hang on to her number one. She came really close to losing that to NB. I think she is just so cool and so gracious. And did you guys hear that she gave a chocolate bar to everyone who played in the tournament to celebrate her number one?
No, really.
She wrote personalized notes and gave everyone a chocolate bar and put it in their lockers, I guess. And so
she's such a kid. She's such a kid.
So what are your final thoughts, Beth?
I think it was a great tournament. I mean, even with the weather delays and the really complicated scheduling that went on, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved the fact that two of the people in the playoff were rookies. I love the fact that in the first two tournaments we'd had rookies in contention. There's a strong rookie class that's gonna spend the season challenging the old dogs to get with it. And I really love that. I love, one of the issues about golf in general has to do with why don't the millennials play golf? Well, nobody's looked at the LPGA rookie class. It's filled with millennials who are just dynamite golf players. So that's my thought to take away from this.
That's a good one. Okay, Alex, I'll let you finish up.
I guess I was kind of curious, how our Symetra Tour players versus the people that made it through Q School would do, and I guess it looks like, the players from Q School are doing a lot better than the Symetra Tour grads, but, it's early, and we'll see how our top 10 graduates will do. I think it'll be nice to see a tournament maybe with not such, weird weather conditions. The Ocala tournament had, all the rain and the cold, and then the winds in the Bahamas, but it's just, it looks like paradise there, so it's really fun to watch, so looking forward to seeing what goes on in a good weather tournament, maybe in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Alex, good luck with your continued preparations for the Symetra Tour, and we look forward to seeing you in action. And thanks always, both of you, for joining. And have a good couple of weeks, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thanks for doing it. Bye-bye, you guys.
Okay, good
Bye.
night.